Deadlifts are most definitely one of the best exercises for your legs and back. In this video, we will take a closer look at exactly which muscles and muscle groups are activated so you can target your deadlifts for maximum gains. To ensure you get the most out of your training, we're also going to look at the lift's biomechanics and compare the different types of deadlifts, such as the conventional deadlift, the sumo deadlift, and the straight leg deadlifts. Like the squat, which we've previously looked at in this video, the deadlift is also characterized as one of the most essential exercises in strength training. It strengthens both the front and the back of the thighs and also the glutes. In addition, these two primary muscles are also supported by the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus, which are acting as a synergists. Together, the muscles mentioned above are taking care of the hip joint extension during the lift. If we take a look at the front of the body, the quadriceps will act as an agonist, providing the knee extension. The quadricep muscles consist of four heads: the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, the vastus intermedius, and the rectus femoris. Having said that, the rectus femoris is the only one in the quadricep group that extends over the knee and the hip joint. The remaining muscles only work above the knee joint due to the part of the attachment. In addition to this, the erector spina will also work as an agonist in deadlifts. It helps keep our back straight throughout the lift, together with the core muscles, consisting of the rectus abdominis, the oblique internus abdominis, and the oblique externus abdominis. You should already make contact with these muscles even before the lift itself, when you set yourself up for the lift. During this, the latissimus dorsi, the delts, the traps, will also be active and contribute to keeping the back nice and stable and helping keeping the tension. Overall, the cooperation between all the muscles tested with a good technical execution will lead to a well-executed deadlift. Different types of deadlifts and changes in the muscle use. As you've probably seen, there are several different forms of deadlifts. Among the most well-known forms, we've got the conventional deadlift, or regular deadlift, sumo deadlift, and the straight leg deadlift. We will now take a closer look at how the muscle activity is in the various forms of deadlifting, and also how this can change to be based on biomechanics. Now we're going to take a look at regular deadlift versus a sumo deadlift. In a sumo deadlift, the position of the legs is often wider than shoulder width, and in contrast to conventional deadlift. You can imagine a sumo wrestler standing, getting ready for a fight. This will lead to somewhat shorter working path than a conventional deadlift. And also, in addition, the arms are on the inside of the legs as opposed to the outside, and the upper body is somewhat more upright or vertical with a normal deadlift technique. With a more vertical upper body, the erector spina will be less stressed than during a conventional deadlift, where the upper body is somewhat more horizontal. However, it will still be an essential muscle when it comes to keeping the back naturally straight throughout the exercise. Research by Bird and Barrington Higgs via EMG measurements shows the erector spina muscles were up to twice as active in a conventional deadlift compared to a sumo deadlift. As the erector spina is less stressed, this will also mean that there will be somewhat reduced risk of back injuries with a sumo deadlift compared to the conventional deadlift. You will be able to lift somewhat heavier without necessarily putting much more strain on the back. With a wider leg position, the adductor muscles and the quadricep groups will also be somewhat more active. Esker Miller and colleagues investigated this via EMG measurements of the quadricep groups, and especially the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, which perform the knee extension in the exercise. When it comes to the adductor muscles, adductor magnus, one of the main muscles that are activated on the inside of the legs. In addition to the hamstring group and the gluteus maximus, adductor magnus, also helps perform both the hip extension in the exercise. Okay, moving on to the straight leg deadlift. In the straight leg deadlift, the knees will be in or close to full extension, and the upper body will be much more horizontal in both the sumo and also the conventional deadlift. Straight leg deadlift will reduce quadricep activation and increase activation in both the hamstrings and also the erector spina. Due to the more horizontal upper body, this will put the erector spina and the entire lower body in more of an exposed and vulnerable position, with a higher risk of injury than the other deadlift variants. Straight leg deadlift is therefore particularly suitable if you want to train the posterior chain of the body. For example, the erector spina, the gluteus maximus, and the hamstring group. We hope that you're now left with much more knowledge in deadlifts in general, muscle activity, and not least the mechanical differences between the different variations of the deadlifts. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and also leave a comment below. Thanks a lot.